Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Cyber Snowwolf and welcome back to LEGO Arts. And today we are doing LEGO Supernatural. These were another one of some of the first figures I've made, including one of the first vehicles I actually made. So, I made these guys, think like back in Season 10, when that was running around. They're currently on Season 12, I believe. Or maybe they're... No, scratch that. I think they're on Season 13 now. So... for this set, we have, of course, the Winchester boys, Sam and Dean. We have our fellow angel, Castiel, and we have our favorite demon of all time, Crowley. And of course, we can't have Supernatural without the Impala. So we have that in the background as well. In my opinion, my Impala is not as cool as, like, some others that I have seen, but with the materials I have, this is, like, the best I could come up with. So... like the last video, I'm hoping that this one's gonna be shorter than the previous two, considering since there are fewer minifigures, and one of the main focuses will be on the vehicles. So like with the last one, we're gonna take these figures one at a time and go through them hopefully fairly quickly. If not, then that'll have to be something we'll have to accept. So, let's take these figures one at a time, and I'll show you guys what they're all made of. So starting us off, we have Dean Winchester. This was a pretty interesting minifigure to make. And if you can tell on the face, this was actually one of the spare Kai minifigure heads that I had from LEGO Ninjago. But I wanted to keep, like, the face. A difficult thing with this job is that sometimes when I come across a custom figure, I want to keep the face, but it might not be the right skin tone, so I have to paint up the face, and trying to paint around the face is very difficult to work with. So, that was fun. Well, sort of fun to work with on my end. But with his coat, I chose to go with his green jacket with a red shirt underneath. And if you can't fully tell, the decal that I worked with, this was a Indiana Jones decal, but I used it more as a template to sort of put together. And one of the things that I put on the jacket was his little amulet. We haven't seen the amulet in quite some time, but I wanted to add that in as, like, a little character detail that Dean now has. And he has articulation in his arms, which is a good thing. So that way he can, like hold the wheel in the Impala or grab one of his weapons. And he also has his hairpiece, which I can sort of move, I believe. And and unlike the last one, there's articulation in the legs, because his legs didn't really require any form of detail at all. There was really no point into adding any special effects. Because mainly Dean just wears some jeans, so I chose to go ahead with just painting the legs, like a dark blue, and the rest would come together. So yeah, this came out very good. So now we're gonna move on to Sam. And speaking of the moose himself, we have Sam and Winchester. Like with Sam, I used a Ninjago head as, like, his face, so he has a Zane head, and his torso. I actually got this from a friend, and he had this as, like, a spare body, and he wasn't using it, so he gave it to me. The legs, I can't remember what I used these before, but I remember I had a minifigure that these had decals on, which is why you can see the light spot of blue there, and you can faintly see, hold on, let me adjust the camera slightly. Whoa, what is going on? What is happening? I can't adjust it. That's what it looks like it. But on the side of his leg is another decal that I used. This was for a different minifigure, but it didn't really work out at the time. I have no idea what is going on with this thing. I'm gonna say, there we go. Sorry about that. That was super weird. I had no idea what was going on. But yeah, if you can tell the slight details of a decal, I think I can't remember what I used that for exactly. I think I can somewhat see it. It looks like it was the old legs I had for a Zoom minifigure, but I'll show that in another video at a different day. His hairpiece. This was the only one I could really find that comes close to what Sam's hair looks like. Looks like he has very long hair, and and we fans keep making jokes on the fact that it'll probably grow even longer. I either got this at hang on. If I can remove the hairpiece, I can determine of where I got it from. Yes, just as I thought. This came from a Dawn of Justice set of the set where you get Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and they're fighting Doomsday. Well, not really Doomsday, but they're fighting Lex Luthor. And to me, Lex Luthor is not supposed to have hair, so I took the hairpiece off that and gave it to Sam. Yeah, and this turns out pretty good. Turns out pretty good. And like with Dean, there's articulation in the legs, which is good. Same thing with the hands, and that way he can grab a hold of like a book, and again one of the weapons, and of course the wheel. Well, alrighty, now we'll be moving on to our favorite angel. Next up is Castiel, the Angel of the Lord. This minifigure was pretty fun to make. It's very unique. I used a spare Superman head that I had for like Cass's head, and for his hairpiece, I think this was what Cass's hair mainly looks like. It kind of looks like Dean's in a way, but it might be. But I think this is like what it actually looks like. And for his body, I used this. The template I used for the body was a 10th Doctor decal. Now, it was a brown trench coat over the blue suit and a red tie. But I took that through Drawcast, changed the suit black, gave him his cream tan trench coat, and gave him a blue bow tie. I don't think he has a suit underneath, but he definitely does have the shirt and the coat. So that's pretty good. And there is articulation in the arms, I think. Let me test. Yes, there's articulation in the arms, but not really much in the legs. The legs due to the decals, once again. But a unique thing I did was his wings. I actually got these I think last year or the year before then. Of I was up in Denver for a Lego convention, and one of the booths that I was at had these really cool wings, and I thought that those would be pretty cool for Castiel. So that way we could like see the wings come up, and they are removable. Okay, so there's the second face is for Superman. I think this is also used as like a Bruce Wayne head, which I don't know why they would use that for the same thing. I guess for manufacturing purposes. Purposes. But there we go. Here we have the wings a little bit up close, and they can move, so we can make him like go flying. And if you wanted, and if the scene was, if we were to do a little film with Cass, if there was a scene where he wouldn't have his wings, we could remove the wings, and that way he could like sit in the Impala or just show off and look normal. And there is an actual decal on the back. In the back, you can't really see it that well due to the wings being back there. But the idea is, again, and you could remove his wings, and so that way you can see what he looks like without them, and that he can fit in a vehicle. So yeah, that's Castiel. Now let's move on to the Crossroads Demon / King of Hell. Last up on the minifigures, we have Crowley. Or should I say, former King of Hell, which, spoiler, if you have not seen the ending of Season 12, Crowley dies in that one, and Mark Sheppard has confirmed that he is not coming back. He will be moving on to something else, which admittedly is kind of sad, because we've grown to like Crowley, and so that's pretty sad. Anywho, on Crowley in general, the suit is based off of a Ra's al Ghul decal, which, in case you're curious of where I found that, there's a link in the description below. There's always going to be links of where I found the decals. That I used as like either the templates or borrowed for the minifigure. So you can see that some little paint specks are fading away with the hands and in the arms a little bit. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, it looks like his legs are stuck. His legs are stuck, so I can't really move them that much. His arms, though, I can move the arms, and I believe his hands as well. Let me see if I can, see if I can move his hands. Doesn't look like I can, and I think the paints solidify, pretty much, like, harden inside the hand. That happens sometimes as well. His hairpiece, his hair in general is roughly short, so I think this comes to about just as close as I can get to, like, what Crowley's hair would look like a short hairpiece. Oh, I actually, like with, David, like back with Sam, I used a piece from the Dawn of Justice set as, like, for Crowley's head. I used a Superman head on that one because I didn't like the head. I thought the head was pretty bad on how a live-action Superman, or man, with that version of Superman, he was never really smiling. I think because in that series, happiness is not supposed to exist. But in this one, the way on how Crowley looks is that the idea is that with his head, and he has his beard, and these represent his red eyes of when demons switch out their eyes and they reveal their true colors. In a way. So I used that as Crowley's head, and I think this came out pretty good. I think it came out very nicely. So now that we're done with the minifigures, we're gonna move on to the Impala, and I'll show you its secrets. And last but certainly not least, we have the Impala. So the car that has been on the show ever since the beginning. Here we have its side. We showed the front. Here is the back. Of course, with the license plates. We have red paint. I'll move the camera in a little bit closer. We have red paint to represent as like the blinkers or the back lights. We have the rims on the back, and on the side is the same thing. Over here is supposed to be like the rear view mirrors, and at the front, and of course, for like the license plates, I didn't really know which one to sit along with, so I used two different Impala license plates. I then shrunk them down to the size of where you could glue this onto one of those smooth Lego bricks, and so I super glued that onto the front because that way, as I'll show you, I super glued those on so that way they would stay on. And this thing is, in that since it was put together, it's not really meant to come apart. So this didn't actually come in black. Some of these vehicles that I make, was literally just a random morning. I had on either a weekend or a weekday, and I was with my Legos, and I just randomly put together some bricks, and it escalated from there. That's pretty much how all of my creations come together, is that I just let my brain take over. I don't really have full memory of how each brick came together. I just remembered building it. But anywho, of how the set works, so up at the front, you can't really tell, but some black paint on the windows represents of like the hood of the Impala coming together. But speaking of the Impala, I'll open this up and we can see the inside. Whoa, whoops, hold on there. So inside here we have, of course, the back seat, and if you notice this book, this book is actually a key ingredient into it, because this is supposed to represent of like Dad's journal of like where all the monsters are in there. And of course we have the seats up here. I might actually change those seats to make them cream, and the cream-based color like on the show. I might not do that on the flooring, mainly because as the minifigures actually sit in the car, and the paint might come off if I try to put them in. But rotating this so we can get a view at the front seat. So in the front, we have the passenger seat for where like one of the brothers can sit and go over a potential case. And of course, the driver's seat, we have the wheel, and this little control panel represents the radio, for where Dean can listen to all of his tunes, such as Carry On My Wayward Son, or Thunderstruck, or anything else you can listen to from classic rock. But one of the most impressive things is all the way back here, which is the trunk. Now, with the actual trunk itself, I wanted to do like one of those things for where we'll have one layer, a normal trunk, but underneath is where the arsenal is. However, with the bricks, it was not capable of doing that. So, oh yeah, that's what I'm left with. So, I'll actually show you guys the weapons that I've made here. And here are some of these that I put together on my own. Others I've based them off of like some brick and some parts that I got during a weekend. Hang on, everything's almost out there. Everything, all on there. On there, up. There's a book. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's everything. Everything from the car. Now we'll show you some of the weapons we have. So we have shotguns, meant for like the salt guns. So they can go after the ghosts. A little radio that is actually meant to be an EMF detector, so that way they can find some ghosts. We also have this knife that I thought looks very similar to the first blade. No, the demon-killing knife. So I chose that for the true knife. I tried to make a knife, but it didn't really work out so well. Over here we have an angel blade. Angel blade that can not only kill angels, but demons as well, so that comes in handy. Of course, we have our cuffs, so that way we can catch the monsters. We have like a machete, or maybe this was a pirate's sword, but same time where I got the wings, I got this as well, so that we can use this as decapitation for vampires. Either that, or even the purgatory axe. I always thought this was a cool weapon, so I wanted to make this and we have some flashlights. This was from a police minifigure pack that I had. And I had that I originally got for my Black Canary minifigure, which I will do a showcase video of my Arrow minifigures. I'll do that pretty soon. And one of the parts in there was flashlight, so I took some studs that I had, and so that way when they're hunting for monsters at night, they can hunt with the flashlight. And, whoa, shoot. Here we have the Colt. This was like a pirate's gun. This gun which, I can't remember the exact set that I got this from. I think I got it from one of my Air Jetsu from Ninjago. But this was roughly close of what it's supposed to look like. So I tried my best to pull off like that. And of course we have our regular gun. Over here. And one of the last things is the first blade. I made this a long time ago, so I wanted to keep this as around as sort of like one of the key elements in Supernatural that sort of helps like build the show up to where it is now, because I think the show has really evolved from what originally started out, and this was one of the things on the journey, so I thought that'd be a very nice thing to actually include in. So yeah, that's the arsenal, and with it, that Sam and Dean can go hunting and save the world. And yeah, after all of that being said, we now have the whole crew together in the car. They're ready to go out for a hunt, and they're ready to save the world. So these minifigures were very fun to make. These weren't like one of those special occasions where I thought like I should work on Supernatural. These were just one of those like morning things that I got up in the morning I wanted to do, and to like build something, and I made it the Impala, and it went from there. But yeah, these minifigures have been very fun to make. And I really enjoyed these guys. And I might do some more Supernatural minifigures earlier on. I might do some other minifigures, such as, like, some memorable characters like Bobby, Garth, he's one of my favorites. It's, Charlie, and maybe a few other villains as well. Well, so that way Sam and Dean have someone to fight. But in general, these minifigures have been pretty fun to make, so... future Supernatural is like a potential, so if I wanted to do that, I might go ahead, but at the same time, I'm pretty satisfied with how things worked out. I really enjoyed making these figures, and I hope you guys too enjoyed these ones. So, let's wrap this up. So, thank you guys so much for watching this. If you liked it, hit that like button, comment below what you think, share this to your friends, and here's a howl for the road. Ow! And thank you guys, and I will see you next time when the ice moon rises!